So if Antoine Arnault, what are the odds of that man showing up in a small town in Sydney, Ohio? Just happened to see him when I came out of the courthouse on the same day that they would not allow me to even go into the courthouse to go look up some records. Antoine Arnault was outside snapping photos. In fact, I spoke to him, but that's how I knew he was a Frenchman, because of his accent. So you tell me, explain to the authorities, Antoine Arnault, why you were in Sydney, Ohio. I don't know, 5-6 months ago, something like that. Yeah. Why was you in that little town? Just felt like taking pictures of the bank and the courthouse, doing a little bit of what do you call it? Tourist, touring around a little small town, a multi-billionaire at that. What are you doing? If you're not involved in this situation, what are you doing, Antoine, Mr. Arnault, in that small town, which I just happened to get downloads, and the Spirit revealed to me what your plans are, and your father and my biological father. You're so angry because what? What are you mad about? What do you want for? What are you hurting for inside, Antoine? Seriously. What could push a man or a demon to do such a thing? To conspire against my murder? To remove me from a will? It's got me thinking a lot, too. You know, Bill Zimmerman Sr., William, you've got to be related to Bernard Arnault. You've got to be related to these people. And it's not a coincidence that my life has been quite difficult all my life. But I don't care about that. It's in the past. My future is so bright. And brings me to the question I asked you is, why would you do that? The only answer that I could come up with is your jealousy because of my great calling in this world. And I'll be greater than, supposedly, from your viewpoint, greater than you, when in fact it could have been different. Let's just say that. Could have been different. But yeah, I want you to explain, Antoine, why you were there in Sydney, Ohio. On the same day that I went into court, that I had a sense that there was a court hearing going on in my name, and they would not let me in that building. Explain that one to the authorities, Antoine. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Antoine Arnault. Yeah. Whether you took a private jet, whatever the case may be, you are on camera. Period. The banks, the courthouse, downtown, you were on camera being there. Yeah. With your tourist camera out. Yeah. I spoke to you. Actually, they could pull the footage of me coming out of the courthouse and then going up to you to ask you a question. Stories are starting to make a lot more sense, you know. In the beginning, I didn't even tie that together. Nah, I was kidding. I knew it was you. Maybe not on paper, but intuitively I knew that it was you. I did. But now is the time to mention it, apparently. So, that's what I'm doing. Shout out to you, brother. And you, biological sperm donor, Bernard Arnault. Congratulations, Bernard. You made it on paper as the world's wealthiest man, but I plan to surpass that by at least double, if not quadruple. I can assure you that it's in my destiny to be the world's wealthiest man. Even richer, or more wealthy than that of King Solomon. That was revealed to me a long time ago. But it's all right. Know that you are loved, first and foremost. Know that you are forgiven, first and foremost. Know that each and every one of you must take out the key, put it into the door, the portal of forgiveness in oneself. Once you do that, I promise you, nothing, I say again, nothing will be impossible to you. Because once you possess the keys to forgive yourself truly for every mistake that you have ever made, world, that I can assure you, it will give you the same power to not hold on to those things, but to release them where they belong, in the past. Yeah. And then give you the ability to push forward. You got to know a lot about that. You got a lot of documentaries, you and your father, and your coalition of billionaires clubs who have been watching children and doing heinous acts against civilians. You and your family, and you and your ties to the United Kingdom, that of the king and so-called prince. Notice how I said prince, not plural, because there's only one currently. So, anyway, world, I love you. You gotta know that. And truly, I don't hold anything against you. None of you. In fact, I'll say it again. You pushed me to greatness. You assisted on that. You didn't do it entirely. I did. My spiritual team, the divine, my royal family, they were there for me. So if it was up to any of you, then I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. But thank God it ain't up to you. And thank the divine it's up to the family. And they have seen, no matter what I have done in my past, no matter what drug I put in my body, I've still been deemed worthy to carry out this amazing plan. You know why? Because it's not about projections, people. It's about the heart. And yes, I'm talking about self-imposed projections, as well as projections that's placed upon us from the viewpoint of the world. Family, associates, friends, business partners, work associates. The list goes on and on. Spouse, things like that. But you know what the most beautiful thing is? Forgiveness. World, you know, a lot of people say that forgive but don't forget. Well, I say forgive and do forget. I'm not saying forget that. You know, someone has caused you great pain or harmed your life. You know, you're not going to forget that. But the key is where your focal point is. It's the shifting or the reframing of one's mind. So you can train your mind or stay in the matrix of projection where you are constantly thinking about all of the wrongs that someone has done to you. But tell me, why is it so easy that we so commonly forget all of the wrongs that we do to others? Self-included, people. I've never claimed, nor will I claim, to be better or to be flawless. How boring would that be? Yeah. I've lived an epic life. But you know what made that life epic, people? My natives. Registered trademark, by the way. You're my people. You're the divine's people. Creation. Doesn't matter how far you went right or left to get off balance, world. The only thing that you need to remember is this. Balance. Is truly one change of your heart's direction. It's not asking you to get perfect overnight. Goodness gracious. Listen, people, the divine is powerful. If that's what the divine wanted from you, that's what the divine would have given to you at your creation. Think about that for a moment. You know, we are given free will. We are. You know, and a lot of us, and you're like, well, what about divine? Or that's destiny. Well, I'm glad you asked. You know, all the way up until destiny kicks in, I was living according to what I thought was my reality. Drug addiction, anger in my heart towards everything frustrated about everything. But truly, people, even after peeling back the layers of understanding that serious, very real spell work and black magic and demonic forces that do exist, witchcraft is real. It's real, people. It's real. It's as real as you are. Who says it's not real? I want you to think about something. Anybody that's lived a life of 40 years, and I speak this only from experience. I've lived 40 years. And I believe that life's getting boring. You know, it's kind of mundane. And it's like, let's spice it up a little bit, right? You know, we need to spice life up. And that's exactly what the intent of the divine is, royal family is doing currently at this time. Some are going to be on the opposite end of dharma, good karma, on this cycle, this go around. From the positions that you chose to involve yourselves in. But it's a lesson learned, people. If you look at it not from a standpoint of punishment, but a standpoint of a genuine, true love of a real, loving mother, okay, and father, the perfect balance of both. Some of us may be like, man, I don't know what that is. Hey, don't feel bad. I didn't know forever. Still learning. I know that I'm still always going to be learning. But I can assure you this, my friends. My natives. You are loved no matter what you've done. No matter how much negative energy that you've put off into this world, you are still loved. Now, wow, whatever else is going on in your world at this current time, if you can grasp that, people. You see, it was the enemy's plan is to interject these negative mindsets about what the true purpose of the divine is and the true personality of the divine. And our moral compass is that of love. It's truly what our DNA is. If, you know, whatever. You know, we say DNA in this physical realm so that we can understand the molecular structure of the body. But, you know, there's spiritual DNA as well. As above, so below. So. The thing is, people, if you can grasp no matter what, and this is the hope, people. And we'll talk about gospel, the exceedingly, abundantly, amazingly, phenomenal, great news that seems so far-fetched that it seems impossible. You know, that's what gospel, if you break it down in a nutshell, is basically saying. It's phenomenal news. Exceedingly joyful, celebratory news, people. That's gospel. Okay? Now, there's a lot of truth in the word and a lot of wisdom. But it truly takes the spirit of discernment to rightly divide it. As scripture was placed in there, I truly believe, purposely, rightly dividing the word of truth. Now, if that statement is made, rightly dividing the word of truth, that clearly tells me that there is false. And I'm not just talking about false religions in the world, Christian, that would say, well, it's because the Bible's real. No, it says that because the divine knew the plan of the enemy. Do you think, honestly, that the enemy, or Lucille, ascending angel, if she chooses it, you don't think that the divine knew the plan? I mean, of course. You don't think that the divine knew that, the spoken word that was before the foundations of existence and the world, before that began, before this timeline began, that moral compass and structure, the very foundation that makes up the council, that makes up the genetic or the spiritual code of the council and the angels. And look, people, angels are not created to worship the divine day and night. That's just listen to that. The angels are like you and I. They have emotion. They have will, free will. Come on, I want you to think about that for 1 second. A lot of Christians, they preach that the angels don't have free will. Only human beings or mankind have free will. But yet, if that's the case, how was Lucille able to get off balance and make decisions that would alter the course of humanity and the planet for many, many centuries? Just some things to think about, It's true. There are amazing beasts. Look at the creations. Look at the creatures, people. Like, if you've never seen a freaking crocodile or a great white shark and it came up to you in the water, you would be like, what in the H-E double hockey stick is that? It would blow your mind. The same in the spiritual realm, people. If you were to see a created angel, you have not seen, a lot of people haven't seen. Personally, I have. I can personally say that I have literally seen Michael, the archangel, who is my general, in this amazing plan that is unfolding. I've seen him, and I haven't seen him in a physical body, but I've seen him in a spiritual, let's call it, it looked like a hologram, people. A hologram. And in this hologram that I seen, in a mirror actually, when I was gazing in a mirror, my, well, it wasn't this one exactly, it was the truck mirror. Silverado mirror. I was sitting in a parking lot at Kroger's in my hometown, and I'd been battling this spiritual warfare for many weeks and months at this time, and it got more intense. And when I say more intense, and maybe there are some, or at least the earth angels or the prophets and prophetesses that have been placed and planted here to carry out this mission is, I'm sure you have experienced a lot of the same things that I had experienced and currently am, but I can definitely tell an energy shift. A load has been lightened. Got very heavy for a while, the past few weeks, where I needed to truly ground myself. And people, if you get to that point, remember, hey, I'm one for saying some things that I know I'll say things that I know damn well, excuse my language, that I just will not do. But I say it anyway because I don't have anybody else to say it to. I'm frustrated. So I say it. You know, yeah, words do have power. But it's not the word that possesses the power, people. It's the possessor of the word that possesses the power. So if you say something, you can retract it. Absolutely. It's not like, whoops, I said that, and it's gone and automatically heading in a direction that's going to cause or wreak havoc in, someone's life and ours included. No, that's, how fair would that be? I mean, come on, man. We got to use our minds. Words do hold power, but the possessor of that power is self. Okay? So when you open up your mouth and you may say something, this is where not so much begging the divine to forgive you when you are already forgiven, but to communicate with the divine family, to share with them what's going on in your life currently, that whether you may or may not know why you said something you said, or took your frustration on someone that you love, or whether you killed somebody in a blind rage, or you made a mistake, an awful mistake, or you would think that others would think it's an awful mistake, and it could be. But guess what, people? We're not here to paint false portraits of ourselves to other people. And I think that's where we have flipped it. We think that if we're wearing $1 million watch on our wrist, well, that's not good enough. Let me put 3 on there so that you know that I've got $3 million at least. So, and don't get me wrong, people. I was young too. I lacked wisdom just as much as the next person. But for a purpose. We all have a lack of wisdom for a purpose. Huh? Be the experienced example of your own life in the life of someone else, to help make their lives just a little bit more simple. Maybe. Or lighten their load. That is truly the divine's plan. But the enemy has gotten us off balance and made us forget these things. So the things that are vital to us and important to us, like our bodies, for instance, okay? When we lose hope or lose sight or get off balance, we begin to forget what's important, like our bodies. And we start not caring, about them, and we eat whatever we want, and maybe not work out, and we do drugs and drink all the time, where it becomes, where it takes us from a balanced position into an off-balanced position, and takes control over our lives. Guilty. Happened to me, but for a purpose. And if any of you can relate, take strength in that, because I can assure you that you've got a testimony that your neighbor doesn't. You've got a testimony that somebody, somewhere, hallelujah, needs to hear from you Not your sister, brother, uncle, aunt, mother, cousin, husband, or wife, but from you. That's the beautiful things. Or the beautiful thing about this is it's your testimony. You can choose to take your... Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. You can choose to take your testimony and see it like a Lombardi trophy and put it up on a shelf and be proud of it. Reframe the mind work and use that as fuel and power and energy to inspire yourself in the lives of those that are graced to be in your family, in your presence, and vice versa. Or you can choose to look at your testimony or your life and look at it like it's some second-placed blue ribbon that's just not good enough. So I might as well just throw it away. Oh, hallelujah. I've been there. I understand you, world. I understand you. And I'm here to tell you today that there's hope for you. Amazing, exceeding, joyful hope. And that hope lies in yourself. And a decision. And that decision is this. Will I wake up today and consciously make a projection or a goal that I'm going to be the best version of myself that I know how to be currently in the moment that you're being it. And sometimes I've found personally from experience the best way to do that is get outside of self and do something for someone else. Sometimes in order to see what's right in front of our face, people, we gotta stop looking at life as if it's just about us. Just about me. This whole world is just about me. Who cares what happens to Billy and Nancy? As long as I take care of myself. Who cares if I have to cheat, rob, steal, kill, and destroy to get to the top? As long as I get to the top. These are projections, people, that they are negative frequencies that don't cause love and life to create abundance in your life. Yet it may seem like that in this matrix of time. But when the piper begins to play the flute, our payment is due. So, and I'm not speaking about punishment, people, or, eternal punishment in hell. I'm talking about what we do in ourselves and to the world. It comes back to us. Well, rightfully so. When we reframe our minds and our focal points, people, to think like this, we're not going to we're not going to treat our neighbors that way. Because we're going to understand, listen, people. Oh, wow. Okay, that's an excellent viewpoint. Thank you, Divine. Check this out. The whole story about the dispensation of grace, right? The dispensation of grace basically says you can live the way you want here on this earth, but once your life is over with, then your karmic debt's in the mail. And that debt is so heinous that it makes God worse than you. If He was to put you there, which He or she, whatever you feel most comfortable calling her at this time. That's not important to her. It's important to us because we're looking at gender more so than energy. See what I'm saying? So when I say that the divine wants to, or has chosen to embody her in an imperial empress, means exactly that. She's chosen to do so. Okay? Okay, so this dispensation of grace, right? This is an excellent tactic that could be used for the enemy to set up a counterproductive chess game with the divine. It makes sense to manipulate time as the projection that it is, let you get away with, certain things that you're doing, to think that there is no such thing as God, the divine, there's no such thing as karma. And that projection it's flooded the world with hatred. And we've lost our understanding of what truth is and that balance. But I assure you this world, it's coming back and being brought back into balance and it's going to be taught. I mean, nobody's coming down with 10,000 horses I'm going to stop right there because I don't know the whole plan yet. I don't, but I do know this. You are loved. I am loved. Together, we are loved. I'm not loved more than you. You're not loved more than me. So the question is, how do we tap into it? It's all about getting real. It's all about being 100% honest. You know what? I've done a lot of stupid things in my life. Being under the influence, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but anybody that's been under the influence has done some stupid things that, we're not proud of. Products of our environment, something that we've been taught, so we do. So, how fair would that be to be judged for that, people? That would be smacking the divine in the face, spitting in our face and saying, divine, you don't have a damn clue what you're talking about. You don't have wisdom. That's basically what that's saying. I mean, not in the sense that that's how the divine's taking it, because we can't see it at this time. Some of us. But it's about as stupid as it sounds when we are thinking it. And we think it's only because we don't feel worthy, people. But I'm here to tell you, it's not about being worthy. That's where we all gone wrong. Ain't nobody worthy or more worthy than the other. That's the key. That's the balance. once we get outside of ourselves, and I'm not saying that there aren't, you know, certain callings in certain people's lives where, you know, the divine's going to use them this way or that way. I mean, that's the divine's plan, what she's chosen. She's chosen it because she sees the heart, people. And that's what brings me back to. It's not about being worthy. It's about checking your heart. Check your heart, world. The moment that you check your heart, get real honest. You don't have to go tell nobody. In fact, I don't advise it. Truthfully. You know the things that you've done, world. We all know the things that we've done. People say, well, it's just so much better to talk to somebody and, that you can relate to. I understand that. I get it. But there are certain things that you just don't want to tell people. Why? Well, because people have a tendency to be flawed. People have a tendency to gossip. People have a tendency to lie. People have a tendency to become jealous. These are the things that we do to others. And we don't think that they have any negative repercussions, which is just foolishness. It absolutely has repercussions. And that repercussion starts within. Karma. Listen, folks, there's coming a time very soon where when the moral code is broken, and I'm talking heinous crimes, people. I'm not talking about accidental crimes, accidental mistakes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about right out evil, malicious darkness that's going on in this world right now. And this is where that judgment is coming in to play right now. Your sense, when he comes with 10,000, thousands of his angels, I don't remember exactly what it says, but 10,000 of his angels. Sounds like an army. That's not the right number. It's actually a lot higher than that. And it's not just about coming and setting up shop on one side of the world and getting all the nuclear power and saying that, this is the way that you gotta follow, and if not, we're gonna destroy you. God. That would make me no better than all the religions before me. It's about what's morally right, people. We all got that compass inside of us. So, example, you want to rape a child? Bam! Listen to the words I speak to you, for they do hold power. And this is not just something of a figment of my imagination. This is a prophecy. This is a word given by the divine. You will be instantly generated. Expired. And we're not going to have to wait for a crooked judicial system that's full of wicked and darkness and buy-offs and sellouts. Sellouts get sold. Listen, these heinous crimes will be paid for in full, instantaneously. It's called an eye for an eye, people. But here's the thing. It's not going to be another human being doing it to you. It's not. Okay? Listen. The key is to remember, don't fear death. The only reason one fears death is because of the projection of hell that awaits them. Don't fear death, people. Fear living a life outside of the moral code. And I don't say fear like, oh God, am I doing right? Am I doing wrong? No. Live with that sense of reverence of self. To say this to self. Well, self, do I feel like molesting a child today? Do I feel like sex trafficking, this freshly kidnapped 12-year-old? No! Sure, you might feel that way. And here's your mercy. Your thoughts, you can think it, but it's your responsibility, my responsibility. If that thought comes into one's mind, no matter what it is, world, whether we dwell on it, allow it to consume us and take control over us, or whether we say absolutely not, that's against the moral code, it's against my code. That's the key, people. It goes against your code. My code. Physically and spiritually. Think about that for a minute. We begin to, oh my goodness, thank you, Spirit. Just got this download. We begin to alter our DNA as well. When we give in to these heinous or unbalanced, I guess you would say, crimes that people commit. And I use my example because, I am a victor of a story, similar to that in my life. So, testimony that I have decided to spit, shine, and put up on that shelf so that I can allow evolution to truly take place in my life. And just allow the divine to breathe in my direction. Nothing makes you feel complete or whole, people. That hole that all these people talk about, that we all try to fill with something that never fills. It's because nothing can fill that. Not even a relationship with the divine alone can fill that. It's a perfect trifecta, people. Having a relationship with yourself first. Knowing that you are entitled. It is your divinely given right as a being, a created being. It's your right. Anyway, I don't know. I've said a lot, but trying to see if there's anything I forgot. I'm sure I forgot something, but it's okay. We'll get it next time when it's meant to come out. World, until next time, remember what prayer is. Prayer is not a chant sent up to a deity. Prayer, which I really don't like that word, but I'm going to use it so that you can understand. It's just another word. But I don't like it because of the projection that it's been used, as this routine. And anyway, prayer is simply this: a relationship with oneself and the divine family. Simplified right there. That's what it is. Like I was saying, you have a bad day, whatever the case is, what doesn't matter? Call it sin, whatever you want to call it, people. What it is negative energy. And we've been on the same cycle, and we keep sending negative energy back. After our life is over, we enter into the new cycle, we get that energy. The divine gives us a cycle to keep going, to work that, basically that, and I don't even want to say karmic debt so much as to maneuver, better word, around the obstacles placed in our lives to gain the strength needed to get to where we need to be, to help the ones we need to help, including ourselves. So this is one massive, beautiful, intricate design of energy and love is the ultimate goal. So, anyway, listen, people, remember, you're not worthy. And I'll tell you why. Because you've never been put in a class to be considered or deemed worthy or unworthy. You just keep getting opportunity after opportunity. And remember, people, there's no such thing as wasted eternity. Everything is only grooming us to be the best versions of ourselves. And trust me, it gets painful. But use that pain. Sometimes it gets painful. But use that pain as fuel, energy, to help be a miracle in someone else's life. Until next time, world, I love you.